Good morning. Shuffling my things around before I get there. I lured people in without my trans banner in the thumbnail. Now snuck it in. Gotcha. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee. Andrea says, "I'm sure your voice will be excellent for waking up." Wake up! Yes, this is the day. Let's begin. It's very bright as well. It's all bright light coming in. Got Manchester City, the sports. I have a salute mug today. It's got so bad that I was thinking I need some more mugs for my show. Need more mugs for rotation. So today's mug is the Lest We Forget salute mug. It's a very nice mug. You need to ask cushions today. Oh no. Cool. Just looking at the hellos. And it is episode 51, which means next week is the whole year anniversary. I had a bit of a fear that just before I started that it was going to be the year, and I'd forgot. So I'm just distracted by Gregor's weird leg, but he's fine. As always, I've just about got ready just before the 10 o'clock. Since I've moved down here, it takes me longer to set up because the lights aren't on a permanent setup, so I've got to run around and do that. And it takes me a bit longer, and I keep forgetting about that. I'm thinking, oh crap, it's 10 o'clock. So hello, if you've not been here before, it is our weekly Sunday morning show. I sip coffee awkwardly while you wait and yawn a lot, although I haven't begun yet. And you usually get a bit of a roundup of what's been happening in the world of Bad Squiddo, usually some excess information on what's happening in the world of Annie and what's been annoying Annie this week, and what's going to be happening next week. And there's usually some, what are they called? Sneak peeks, which I look around. Have I prepared my sneak peeks this time? Maybe. So all sorts of cool stuff. What's the DVD? It's not in show. I have to tilt it. So we've started a Saturday night film club. So last night was Bride of the Monster, which was terrible. It's a terrible Saturday night film club. Although a classic, so I have now seen the film. I can see where he was going with it. It was obviously in the whole atom fear age, but nothing really happens, spoiler, and there wasn't a bride. So, yeah, it was a film that I watched. Bela Lugosi was very good in it. He kind of held it together. But did Annie say sneak peeks or sneaky peegs? The sneaky peegs there, they're all nomming because I've just thrown hay at them. I might try and catch a wild one later. Gregor's got a strange leg because somebody bit him a few weeks ago. It wasn't me. I think it's got a feeling it was Nini. But it was a one-off. I've been checking because obviously if they start fighting then they need to be separated. But he had quite like a bite mark in his thigh. Which was not what I wanted to see when I went to find him. But it's all healed up now, but he's got a bald spot. I think he's catching my eye. I'm like, no, his little bald leg. But I haven't seen any issues since then, so I think it might have been a one-off. Maybe he was backed someone into a corner or something like that. I've got to keep an eye on him. He's my old lad amongst all those perky young girl pigs that's running around, running rings around him. So I don't want them just biting him. That would be rubbish. So I didn't do my notes as always, which you've come to expect now. I was sort of mumbling to myself as I was getting ready, so maybe I've prepared in that manner. So what has happened in Bad Squiddo this week? What is terrifying is during this pandemic, like before, the weeks were going fast. Now they're going really fast. I have no idea what happened in the week. I was in every day though, so that's a bonus. So if you've been watching lately, you'll know I've not been in the greatest frame of mind and all that sort of stuff. But I was in all week, every single day, doing all the things. I've got a lot done. Been in a very background anxiety, background unhappiness type thing. But I've been ploughing through, so that's the important thing. So it's kind of been there, and I've been going, no, I've got stuff to do. So I've caught up on so much, very good. Had a couple of people in helping out as well, socially distant. I feel like you have to. There was a meme that was saying you kind of have to add that onto everything now, just to make sure. But yeah, if you saw my short video of the dispatch riders earlier in the week, you'll have seen me sort of go into another room. That's the room I tend to lump people in. So they've been doing all blister packing. So the blister packing's caught up. What have I been doing? I've been doing loads of trade orders. So we supply North Star are our distributor, and we also have retailers that come straight to us. So I can't remember if I mentioned it before. So a distributor, you sell to them for a considerable amount of discount, and then they're the little hub that distribute. So North Star, a lot of people only know sort of like the games that they do and things like Frostgrave. They're actually one of the largest distributors. I know in the UK, I don't know much about European distributors, but they could be. They may well be. I know they distribute all over the world. So yeah, they have this whole hub of shops that they sell to. So they're my distributor. So I give them a whole bunch of stuff, and then they take, as distributor, they take their cut, and then they sell it on to shops. So it means that it's less work for me, basically. And they've got a wider reach, so that's the bonus of having a distributor. And like I said before, they're the only distributor that I would use currently. I really like them, and I really like their business practices. They fit in with my integrity strategy. So they're the distributor, so they'll have quite hefty orders now and again. It's getting quite regular. And there's also shops that I sell to directly as well, so it's not exclusive. But I tend to push people to North Star rather than me, because it means I don't have to do it. I've got a few that are kind of kept from the early days, so they're shops who buy direct from me. So on the off chance you're watching and you are a shop, contact me, your North Star. Let's get the bad squidder in your shop. So trade orders, what they're called, they tend to be much bigger orders than customer orders and require quite a bit more packing. So I had one that was a particular beast. So I've been doing that over the week. That was huge, going off to America. So that took a bit of time, but that was cool. The goal is once everything's nicely in blister packs, then it's really easy to pack them all up. But because quite a chunk of it was out of stock, and then they had to be blistered before they got in and that sort of stuff. It's kind of boring, but yeah, it meant that they went out. So that's given me a nice yes, because trade orders have kind of died through the pandemic because there are other shops. So a lot of shops have had to close. They've had to tighten their belt a little bit for various reasons. Some of them have been just totally closed and furloughed, all that sort of stuff. So barely had a trade order throughout the whole sort of pandemic. And that's quite a nice chunk of our income. So they've all sort of opened up at once, which is brilliant. I went, I've got all these trade orders to pack. But that's brilliant. So it now means that the shops are starting to get the nice big restocks of Bad Squiddo in, which is cool. I'm trying to convince North Star they need the new World War II stuff too. So I had that, I've had loads of blister packing, had the biggest office tidy in the world. I know I keep saying I tidy the office, but I'm really gutting it, which was good. To really, just sort of, it's almost like it's been a really long Sunday, isn't it? The whole pandemic, it's just this whole long Sunday. And those sort of tasks where you just sort of tidy bits up, and that's been good. I've got, again, I'm going to very briefly mention it because I can't, but I have got a very, very serious issue in the background aside from all of this. And one day I may be able to tell you about it, but I actually cannot at the moment. But that has been taking up a lot of my my Annie. So I'm kind of pleased with myself that I've kind of been getting through that without getting into a massive state, which is good. So just give me a pat on the head without having to go further. But yeah, that's some grim backgroundy stuff. Not affecting Bad Squiddo, so nothing to worry about on that front. Just affecting the Annie. So it's good that that's, say, not destroyed me. It's a bonus. So that of the whole week was like, it doesn't really matter what else I do because I'm still standing. So anything else is a bonus. So to get all the trade orders out, the orders to you have been out every day. They've all been, so because what's been happening is I've been generally ace at getting stuff out. Then I've been off for a few days because stuff's rubbish, and there's always this sort of catch up. But it's been the first sort of solid week of just the daily orders, and it's so much easier when I can keep up to date with them. Just doesn't take me long in the morning just to get all the orders packed, and then that's done for the day, rather than this like enormous clear of backlog. So the orders have all been going out every day on time. Beautiful. The restocks came in, so stuff people were waiting on. The only thing I'm waiting on is, what do I need? Wolves. Wolves I didn't realise I'd run out of. And some of the sorcery bits. But once they come in, then I've got, I think I mentioned before, I've got some of their other little bits to put into stock as well. So not the big kits, because otherwise you just, it's endless. They have so many kits. But just some of the smaller little complementary type things they're going to add into the shop. So that's cool. What else? The painted dispatch riders are here. And this is where I'd come and show you them, but they're not here. I left them at the office. But I can show you some photos on my phone, as it's become... Annie shows things on her phone. Where are they? Although, to be fair, it's better than me going... Oh, it's totally unrelated. This is what it's going to be. Scroll through Annie's phone. Look at that pig. Look how cute she is. It's a little sponge. My phone's just guinea pigs and minis. Oh yeah, that reminds me of what I need to show you as well. Ooh. So Andrew Taylor, I would be putting these pictures up today and actually launching them on the website today. So that's a nice little heads up. But oh yeah, that's actually not as... Oh no, I wondered what was coming up on the screen. See that? Oh no, it'll be rotated on yours. It's the reflection off my computer. So what's that? But yeah, I'll put the proper photos up. But and there's a little video on Facebook too. Let's just show you the full. So that's the other set there. They are immense. They are so good. So at some point next week, I'll make a little video, specifically, not a live video, just one showing them off. Oh, they're so nice. They're so nice. I also took this photo. I feel I need to just Photoshop her into stuff occasionally when I'm putting important notices up. So it looks like she's writing out the little notes. But yeah, that made me super happy to be able to finally get them out. Sorry, hang on. Come on, click off. Look at this one. That's quite an evil laugh. Look how regal she is. Beast. Make an icon. But so just checking I missed anything. So that was cool. I'm just going to get up a second and show you something. I will return. Lots of things to show you. What? I totally forgot to get this ready. I've been posting it around everywhere. Ah! Ah! It's a painting by John Blanche, the John Blanche. This is the original painting, which I must not spill tea on. Although the style of watercolour, it might get away with it. How cool is that? I can't do anything, what's the word? Commercial with it. He hasn't said, but I assume so. It's it would be very rude of me, as he is contracted with Games Workshop. So you won't be able to buy anything, but I just wanted to show you because it's cool. It's just a really nice present from him. So I'm gonna get that framed and put it up in my house. Look at that! Look at the cyber pig. It's so good. Oh, it's even trying to focus on my face there. Let's try this human face. Yay! So that I'm not much of a fangirl of stuff because especially in the industry, I know most of them anyway. But John Blanche, I am a fangirl of because I particularly am an art fan, and watercolor ink stuff is particularly my jam. So to have that happen is just the best. So good. I just saw a few bits of comments down. Yeah, so it's just like, wow. I know he did an auction recently, and a few people were saying, "Did you win the auction?" No, the auction went for a lot of money. It was a gift that he just did it because he thought it was cool and liked to do it. So that makes it extra good. How cool is that? Yes. So what else have we had? So next week, oh no, it's begun, the yawns. No, I stopped it, pulled it back. No yawn. So next week, more paperwork. It just seems it's never ending, is it? Just more paperwork next week. I've got to finish. Oh yes, I got the new packaging ready. You might have seen that. Packaging for the latest World War II. I haven't got it all ready, but I've done a chunk of it. And then I'm going to do the rest of it. Might do some today. If not, it'll be during the week. So that's all got its lovely packaging. So I don't know what that was. So I'm going to just sit here and stare. No, it means that when I can start pushing all the new stuff on the retailers as well, that's the incentive, that it's got really nice packaging for them. And it means I can update all the thumbnails on the website, finally. Thank you to Andy2D6, who, you may have noticed, the thumbnails on the website are finally all updated. What an amazing task he has done there. So some of the thumbnails just had the old logo, so he went and replaced all the logos, which was cool, because it's one of those I've been meaning to do for a while, but haven't. Loads of people probably don't notice, but 2 years ago I got Martin Whitmore to update my logo, and so just do the same but better. So this logo that you see is the Marty Whitmore, but occasionally my old logo pops up, and it's the one I drew. It did the job, and the concept was good, but yeah, it's not as good. But that pops up occasionally, and the reason I didn't have a full logo makeover was because I couldn't afford a rebrand. So it means that I can slowly replace stuff. So there's still some of the older logo floating around, which again, I have no idea if anyone notices or not. Shows I've been thinking about this morning. So Warfare is still trading. They still intend to be on, which is start of November, I think. Which I think I expressed last week that I was a bit about it. And Salute have announced, I like what they're doing, that they're basically moving Salute 2020 to 21. So they had to postpone it because that's what they had to do. But they're fully postponing it, so all the merch and everything is Salute 2020. I kind of like that. It's just a bit of silliness. But, so there's a couple of updates. I won't go too much again. No, everyone's fed up of hearing about the goddamn pandemic. But where it's relevant, I'll talk about it, obviously. So one of the rules they've put in the UK is... just reading the side. I'll talk about that in a moment. In the UK, they've now announced that they will be able to do local lightning lockdowns, which means that because the restrictions are basically gone everywhere now, as good as gone, despite the fact that nothing's getting better, but don't start me on that. So it means that they can close down various areas. So the argument is that they're not going to put everything down, but if there's a spike of cases in one area, they're able to just suddenly lock that area down. So it makes sense. So there's no point me going into that. I can't do anything about it. But that's what's happening. But that means they said that local councils have got the power to cancel events. I think it was right up until the night before. So if you're organising an event, there's a chance that the event could be cancelled at the very last minute. And I'm pretty sure that insurance and all that sort of stuff wouldn't work. So that's in that that's in that realm of time as well, because it's November, and our Prime Minister's saying it'll all be over by Christmas. I've never heard that before. But it's strange. They're saying it's all over by Christmas, but there's probably going to be a second wave, but it'll be fine by October. So regardless of what's happening, November's a bit of a dodgy time, I imagine. So what was it? Sorry, I'm rumbling. Yeah, November events. So I'm talking to a few traders this morning, because if stuff can be cancelled last minute, that's no good for anyone. That's no good for organisers or attendees or traders. So I wouldn't be as happy putting money down on something. Obviously, some things are refundable, others aren't, and same for the organisers. So if the organisers get cancelled last minute and they can't get their money back or something, that could kill a show. So it'd be interesting to see. This is all quite new, so it'd be interesting to see what the committees say about that, because I don't want anyone to sort of go bust because of anything like that. So it's making me more sceptical about shows. The bit about Salute is that they've announced that the Nightingale Hospital, which is where Salute is going to be in operation till, I can't remember if it was until the end of March, or at least the end of March, because it's the end of the financial year. But Salute's mid-April. I think they've got a date, actually. Oh, very quickly, just click over here. Sorry, just clicking over here. Just see what the date of Salute actually is, because we have got a date for next year. One moment, my computer's being so slow. Oh, here it is. 17th of April. So it's a bit close. So I'm a bit concerned about that as well. The Annie Hold music. I didn't even realise. It's the worst bit. So yeah, shows are a bit. And one of the reasons for mentioning it is because when I think, again, especially in this pandemic, running a business, and especially when you're a one-person business, and I'm sure some of you know this very well, is you have to constantly be on. And my brain has got that million tabs going on, and it's just like little feelers everywhere, because you've got to be aware of everything. You can't let anything sort of go past. So it's just constantly like a little tabs, loads of tabs refreshing. Just so it's easy to say, oh, just ignore all of this, and you can't, because it's important for business. In the same way that I have to keep up to date on Brexit, although I have, to be fair, just stopped following that at the moment and just assumed that it's all terrible, because who knows. But yeah, all this stuff's like in the background, so it's really tiring. So even if I'm feeling okay, there's still all these little calculations. That maths meme is perfect, where the woman's sort of, because it's just that all the time. And especially in the pandemic, because it's uncertain times and everything's just sort of so changing all the time. And even in the best of intention stuff with the science, that's sort of changing. People are saying, this is good, then they'll say, no, that's bad, and it kind of rotates. And even though you think you've kind of got the gist of it, you're still not entirely sure, because none of us are, maybe some of you, to be fair, but most of us aren't professional scientists or anything like that. And even those people don't know all of it, because it's a brand new thing. So it's that uncertainty of just, and people are very tense. I've mentioned this a few times, including me. So I've been a bit more snappy than usual. And on the tram Friday on the way home, there were 3 incidents just on a half an hour tram journey, which is kind of giving me a bit of fear for the future. So that was 2 people, just strangers, arguing. 2 people arguing about masks because the people weren't wearing masks. and then another person arguing about they've like taped off part of the seating, so it's just really tense. It's almost like we're going into these tribal, like, yeah, tribes, and it's not. I'm not a fan of it. It's all just very, yeah, very tense. And I think what's also been bothering me a bit is that it's not just about now; it's about what's coming. So I know that it's not just going to suddenly end and everything will be okay. It's that sort of fallout. So again, being a company, you've got to just keep thinking, and it's always planning ahead, trying to think, right, well, how can I adapt? And I'm pretty good at it, which is why I'm still here, adapting, going, right, this has not worked to plan. What are we going to do now? Rather than moan about it, let's just come up with plan B. That's kind of my thing. But with this and before, I was having the same sort of issues with Brexit, that because it's all like, who knows? Then it's like you're having to constantly readjust, constantly reassess. And part of it's kind of a good thing of, I don't know what the word is. Not exciting, because that's terrible. I'd much rather things weren't like this. But it's part of the business game, if that's, comes with the territory, because there's always going to be uncertainties that you've got to deal with. So I'm not really massively complaining about it. It's just, this is my little talk show. So it's just to let you know that this is this constant. So yeah, even when stuff's ace and I'm like, you know what, I'm in a good mood, it's still there going, beep. Alex Woods, you might have seen somebody I know who lives in Nottingham and had an argument. Who knows? It could have been, what's the word? Sorry. I imagine this is happening on all the trams. So yeah, because I followed the tram on Twitter, and there was somebody arguing one day when I was on the tram, and he was talking about people swinging off the bars, like full on using them as a gym type thing, just generally being chaotic. And I looked up at the people being generally chaotic on my tram, and I was about to tweet him and say, "Are we on the same tram?" And then realised that he tweeted about 4 hours earlier. It's like, cool, so there are various trams where there's people just hanging off the furniture. So yeah, but I'm getting a lot better, even though stuff's getting worse, because it's just adapt. Stuff's terrible, can't do anything about it. So just gotta keep. So because of my mental health issues, which have I've kind of just got to do whatever I can to not start going into the decline. So it's a good point to say. If you're somebody I normally talk to a fair amount, or even vaguely a bit, and I've noticed that I am not replying or being rubbish, it's because I'm just sort of like pulling back from everything and just concentrating on getting the work done and not being in a terrible mood. So I've been kind of distant from some things, but it's what works. Which goes into naturally, I bought a hammock. And my glasses really need tightening. They're like this all the time at the moment. So I built a grotto at the bottom of my garden, which I was very happy about. And then I was lying out and I'm like, need something more comfy to sit in. And as I was going to bed, I was sort of like, ooh, looking at hammocks on my phone. Fell asleep. Woke up and thought, oh yeah. As I yawned, that was a reenactment of the yawn. I thought, oh yeah, I should get a hammock. No, I can't justify buying a hammock. It's too much. It's more the frame. Hammocks aren't much. You can make one, but it's the frame that I needed because there's nowhere to hang it. So I kind of spent the day going, it's a great idea, but in these times, all this, I can't justify buying a hammock. And then I went to my to-do list because I have a pretty good to-do list app that I kind of schedule everything by. And Sleepy Me had put buy a hammock in the to-do list, and I have no memory of it whatsoever. So I must have been so sleepy and like, nope, I'm gonna tell tomorrow Annie she must buy a hammock. I put it in there twice as well. And I don't drink anymore. So it was a bit like getting a drunken message off yourself, but sleepy. And sleepy me is possibly more dangerous than a drunk me. So I was like, she really wanted a hammock. And she knew that today sensible business me would deny that hammock. So I'm going to buy her a hammock. So that was my justification. Turns out it's the best thing they've ever bought, ever. So you should all get hammocks. They are so comfy. And then I spent ages looking into the health benefits of hammocks. And it turns out they're really good for your back and all that sort of stuff. So fully justified. I think it was Friday. I pretty much went in the hammock till dark, reading as well. And it's just bliss. And that's what I'm doing today, I think. Because I'm in a strange mood again where I'm a bit that agitate, and I think if I just go chill in the hammock. Yes. And it's actually sunny. So yeah, you should all get hammocks. Everyone should get hammocks. We can have hammock Zoom parties or something. Hammocks. Now I kind of want to replace my bed with a hammock as well. They're so comfy. It was just the best. So that's gonna save my brain, perhaps. Oh my god, I think so in my spare time, because I've been actually giving myself a bit of time because it's trying to not burn out as well. I've been doing a lot of World War II reading, and I'm working on the next bunch of Soviets, but I've kind of just been, because I've so many books, I've been sort of dotting around various World War II scenes and points and that sort of thing. And it's obviously quite depressing reading, especially my Eastern Front stuff. I read a whole book on women close to Hitler. There's horrible things in there. There's horrible stuff some of the people have done, and that probably doesn't help my mood. I'm really sad. I'm going to go read about war atrocities. But it's what I'm interested in at the moment, and it's kind of good because I said before that I'm a bit of a, despite being a World War II fan, what a terrible phrase, interested in the military history of World War II. I'm new to it, whereas a lot of you may have been your whole thing for a long time. It's only been about maybe 5 years, if not less. Because I said, it was when I was on Meeple's podcast, I talked about this quite a bit, that I used to have zero interest in World War II. It just did not. For some reason, I just always went, oh, that's boring. I'm not interested. And then when I started researching for the Soviets, it just sort of unlocked something. And I do believe that it was reading about plights of women particularly just made it more connectable. And now the beast that you have before you. But it means that my general World War II knowledge is still very patchy. Whereas in specific areas of it, I know way more than you do. I've got my little expertise areas about women, particularly in various battlefields and stuff like that. But the general war, especially the world element of it, I still have quite a lot of gaps. So I was this morning actually. So I wasn't late lying in bed. I was lying in bed, but I was listening to various YouTubes. So I was about the the whole Japanese area this morning in World War II, which again was always a bit of a blank area for me. So yeah, currently I'm just learning about all sorts of World War II bits at the moment, and then it forms into this like how I'm going to make miniatures, because it's not all about making miniatures. Partly it's my own interest, and then it's also just to get a bigger context of understanding. So it doesn't need to lead directly to miniatures. It's just good to have all that sort of knowledge. So with the Germans, because I mentioned before, I'm going to do a fairly large German project next year, and I've been very uncertain about how to tackle it because I don't want to be. I won't name names, but there was a Kickstarter for some German pilots, and it all went terribly wrong. It wasn't last year; it must have been the year before. And I don't want to do that. So it's trying to do it without sort of looking like you're one of those people that are way too into Nazis than you should be, sort of thing. So it's actually been good because I've been reading about again some of these, the horrible torturous camp guard women and stuff like that, and it's given me a really good, I'm not going to make minis of those. And I know that's the minis that certain people would want, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want them to be minis. So I'm trying to focus on more of your sort of ordinary folk, because obviously not everybody in war follows the doctrine or all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to be focusing on the similar to the Homefront, really, where you've just got some AA guards, AA crew, some sort of partisan stuff. I want to focus so it's not just on the Nazis, it's the resistance, so some of the Jewish resistance. I was reading about, I won't spoil it, so I won't tell you too much, but I was reading about some of the German women that had sort of been part of the whole doctrine regime, and then either saw something or something had clicked in their brain and they sort of went, hang on, we're not the good guys, and then sort of led various resistance groups as well. So that's the sort of history I'd rather tell people about, because I do get that it's this really awkward sort of, and it's obviously being discussed quite a bit now with the whole not erasing history. Like, yes, it happened, and plenty of people make the men figures, so all I'm doing is adding to ranges with that. But I think when you've got that sort of limited budget, like, who shall I pick out? Who shall I make a miniature of? And they're not quite on the same par as statues because they're gaming pieces, so it's not like they're busts. That's the thing where I feel that's goes into that territory a bit. And that Kickstarter was for display pieces rather than figures, so I see a bit of a difference there. So yeah, it's wanting to make some more. I guess a lot of what I do is people that you don't know about but you should know about, and sometimes you should totally know about bad people because that's important too, and especially things like how people go bad and stuff like that. But I think it just has to be done quite carefully. So I'm very excited is not the right word, but you know what I mean. It's a new project is always a good thing, but I have got Soviets to do before that, so I've been, that's it, my scattergun research at the moment. Oh yeah, I can show you some new sculpts too on my phone. I like this idea of showing you on the live. So exciting. So the wave of so we're having a little wave of Homefront, British Homefront. Let me just grab this up. We've got all sorts on the go in sculpting at the moment. It's immense. It's just, I'm just scattergunning all over. As I said before about how we're really like focusing on one particular thing, and the other ranges get a little bit sad. So we're doing a bit, but there was some stuff I really wanted to do from the Homefront that never got unlocked. So afterwards, I've kind of got this mini wave. And I said last week or the week before that I was going to get the stuff ready for Lardy Rich before he gets back. And I think he's back today. I haven't got it ready. But I might read them out on my hammock. So there. So once I've finished reading through Rich's stuff, that means I might add a couple more models to this mini Homefront release. But that's going to come out at the same time as the rules in theory. Hello, Daniel, you are very late. You'll have to watch back. So this, nobody's seen this before. Are you ready? I like that I save these, so it's a treat if you've actually put up with the rest of my ramblings. So here we go. So it's not the best photo, but there you go. You get an idea. They're those creepy baby gas masks. I can't wait to torture my painters by saying, right, so you've got to draw it a little bit see-through and with a weird child's face inside. It's cool, eh? So that's one I'll show you. Remember, I don't show you everything. What else do I have to show you? I'll show you something Ristal has been working on. I might not show you the whole thing. Yes, there is lots. There is lots to come. So what can I show you of Bristol's? I want to show you the whole bit. I just want to show you something. So here's a little zoom in. Again, come on, face. Oh. So it's a cat. It's pulling the tablecloth off the table because there's a mouse on there. There we are. There's various stuff maps around. What do you think that kit is going to be? So that's a sneak peek of part of a kit. And that little cat is amazing. And that is a tentacle, yes. It's so cool. Got a dead foot again. But this kit is so good. So good. This when I get a picture, have oh my leg. When I get a picture through from certain people, that's exciting, including Rob Skeen. I see you. Yes, he's been painting up. That is. I was about to. Was I going to say that's the wrong person? No, that is Dreadquill Rob. He's been painting some excellent stuffage. So that's exciting too. Yeah, the baby carrying figure. I just really wanted to add them in the Kickstarter, but I was already stretching it out a bit too much at the end. Again, not dangerously, but in the I'm not making as much money, but I really want to throw it in. So I couldn't add any more in because it was at max. But afterwards, it's good to have a little few extras in. We've got these fantasy minis in the works at the moment too. Still humming and ahhing whether to kickstart them or to release them. Been having, I know this video will come back to haunt me when I announce a Kickstarter tomorrow, but I've been having these crazy thoughts about not doing a Kickstarter for the rest of the year. I might not. It's nice. I feel like I'm on a weird holiday, even though I'm not, because I have, as I've spent the last few weeks saying, I have lots of extra work on. But on the other hand, I'm not going to shows, and I'm kind of enjoying it because I get to have weekends. Because normally I'm doing shows and then I have to go work, and then I realise I've been working straight through for so long, especially when it's show season as well. It's so knackering. Sim says that sounds sane. Where's Annie? If I do one, it'll be a small, short one, and it will probably be those fantasy ladies. But I don't know. I'm liking things pootling along at the moment, and maybe do something next year. Because it is, I've been saying I'll be doing this, and it's the end of July. The year is waning. How is that happening? And the big chunk of Soviets, that originally was going to be a Kickstarter. Then I decided not. It's again, it's going to come back to haunt me. I was just stretching that leg out. It's definitely. I'm also looking at these blooming diagnosis murder things on here. What a team. I don't want to do the Soviets as a Kickstarter because it'll get out of hand. Well, but again, I don't let them get out of hand because I am a good businesswoman. But they get a bit big, so like the Homefront one got big, and it'd just become a bit unwieldy, especially when it's say just a me doing it. And I think it's that sort of like planning for the future thing, and we don't even know if it's going to be a 2021 at the moment. So just like the idea of things pootling along, so just like some little releases now and again, rather than this whole build up. This is sort of bottleneck you get with Kickstarters. And yeah, I don't know. So who knows? There might not be a Kickstarter, but there's definitely going to be a big Soviet release. Don't worry about that. I think I'm just going to do a pre-release. And I know every time I say that, it ends up being a Kickstarter. But I think partly as well, it's because I'm so exhausted. And I'm obviously like, I'm okay today. But in general, there's just the year's exhausting. And Kickstarters, you've got to be even more on it. You've got to be like, hey guys, we've hit this target, and now we're on this target. And it's just this like... I just don't feel like that at the moment. And I know, there's more time going on as well, but I don't feel like that, and I'm not very good at faking it either. So I don't want to I just want to go, here's some minis I've made. They're really cool. You should buy them. Rather than the sort of panto, but it's a Kickstarter as a whole party thing, isn't it? And it feels weird in these times as well. And I don't know. I say all this, yeah, and then tomorrow I'll go, guess what? we got a new Kickstarter. But yeah, if I do, it will be for those fantasy minis. But part of me wants to just sort of get them out, because there's so much to there's so much else that I've been enjoying catching up on. So the fact that I haven't even got all of the packaging finished for the last load of Soviets, and it's July now. And although the reason I use Kickstarters is because you get so much more money and faster, that they effectively pay for the project immediately, whereas general releases tend to not. So probably what will happen is I'll put a few on general release and go, well, that sucked. Time to do a Kickstarter, I guess. So who knows? But if I can keep it so I can get some little releases chugging, and again, because it forces you to really like funnel into that whole one thing. So I'm aware that there's a bunch of you that have zero, or even you have loads of interest in World War II, you don't game it. So all these new releases, you're like, oh, they're cool, but not for me. So I kind of want to, yeah, keep everyone happy. But you lot anyway, the rest can go. I lost so many subscribers after last week with my wild statement of trans rights being human rights. People were like, what is this? I'm out of here. And I had a weird day of just like everywhere, all followers and stuff sort of dropping off. And then there's a pause, and then they kind of got replaced with better people. So hey, welcome new people. And the other people, ooh, sucks to be you, because you don't get to see these cool videos. Can you do little Kickstarters? They are possible. They are possible. They're kind of hard, but they're possible. So that's the only way I do it. If I do it this year, I think. Is that the best, I keep maintaining, the most enjoyable Kickstarter for me was the My Last Sunrise, which was I think my second Kickstarter, because it was such a small amount of minis and it was 5 days, and that's what I think I'm going to do if I do it. If I do, I don't know. It sort of depends when the sculpts come in and that sort of stuff, because obviously I'm here at the helm, but I work with everyone I work with is freelancer, and they've all got their own issues. There's general sort of delays going down everywhere, and I don't want to put anyone under pressure at the moment as well. So it's sort of just see how it goes. If I end up suddenly getting loads of sculpts at once, then it's me more likely to do a Kickstarter. But if I've got a few bits and bobs, I might just release them. But yeah, little Kickstarters can work. And that 5-day one was 12.5 grand. And I started shipping the week after. It was immense, and it was just like done, and it was the best, and I loved it. So if I do one, it will be like that. I think I had 2 stretch goals or something like that, which were just add-ons that you can add on. Yeah, I think the Homefront knackered me a bit just because it was so huge. I like the short Kickstarters, long ones can get kind of boring partway through. Yes, so mine are usually 2 weeks, 10 days sort of thing. The Homefront was longer because of the nature of it, and that was pretty knackering too, because of the not all of it was sculpted. So I wanted to give it longer so that we could get more stuff to you on the way. You know, like more even just sketches or bits of sculpts coming through, all that sort of stuff. I'm gonna go. Just like, is there anything else I was gonna show you? I bought a Necromunda Goliath gang. As the plan is to play Necromunda in an entirely non-work setting, just as a thing to do. Something to do, because no, it's because I was on the Andy and Rem show. You should follow those, and they they mentioned wanting to play a smallish GW game, and they're not far from us, obviously being in Lead Belt. So I said, hey, let's do Necromunda. So I know Annie not buying Esther's shocker. They're a bit small for me. They're very nice models. I really like them, but you can tell through Bad Squiddo the stuff that I like, because I make the stuff that I like. So I've got a bit of a preference for that sort of chunky minis, and not too many parts. And though the Escher are lovely, there's just too much going on for me as a hobbyist. Like, they're great to look at, but when I come to paint stuff like that, I lose interest really quickly, because I'm just like, rah. Although I've opened my Goliaths and went, how do these have so many pieces? So, but they're bigger. So at least once they're assembled, they're a lot chunkier. So, and a bit more straightforward to play, I believe. What we got there? I've missed the shows and seeing your happy face. Shows make me smile. Yes! Excellent. Doing some good. Yes, I could use my Gaia models. I will eventually probably use my models for it. I always have this internal dilemma because I think, okay, I don't have much money and I don't want to. It's basically, yeah, me playing someone else's, advertising someone else's stuff, and I should be showing my own off. But then it kind of feels like work, even though it isn't, because it's still like, oh, I should tweet this. I should make sure people can see my models being played, and I just want to play a game. So that's kind of good. GW is a really good one for that because there is absolutely no way we can be connected ever. So whereas others, it could be like, so me playing Frostgrave, even though I love Frostgrave, there's still a commercial element because at the time when I was playing it a lot, I was also selling it. So it's still that tie-in, but I'll never sell GW. They're all the way over there. But I did, if you look on the Facebook page, I did put a nice little stream of pigs mumble. Oh, my connection is... Did my connection drop on the live stream yesterday on the page? So you should check that out if you want to see some chumbling away, because they're the best. Before I go, I will very briefly... Oh, that's weird. Very bizarre. 6 seconds. This is where I realised that Andy's doing a million different live streams upstairs. Before I go, I'll very quickly just delve into what I've been doing occasional like tweet streams where I go and then this and then and I go, oh god, I shouldn't be tweeting stuff like this. Well, not like this, but that sort of overshare. I don't know. You said I'll never sell GW and was then blacked out. Coincidence? I cannot say. Help me, they're trying to silence me. Yes, so I was a bit sad on Friday and then I realised I was just massively hormonal. But I was talking about, I can't do as much for you as I want. And it's because people forget a lot of times that it's just me and that loads of small companies aren't all the same. So I've never really had money and that sort of thing. And there's others that have a full-time job as well, or they have savings, or they have a partner that's got stable money and all that sort of stuff. So they're able to do more stuff faster. Whereas my my business is basically, I sell models, I get the money from the models, I pay my bills, then I make more models. So I'm just, I'm going as fast as I can, but I feel really like, because I'm out there going, yes, diversity, I feel it's an easier target to then sort of be like, oh, well, if you're for diversity, why don't you do all of this stuff? Well, I want to, I don't have the funds yet. So that occasionally just makes me go, I'm really sorry, I'm trying. Whereas other people that kind of just occasionally do a token something that they don't normally do once a year get like, well done, you're amazing, go you for diversity. And it's like, oh, Annie, I know that you do all of this stuff already and all of this awesome stuff, but you don't do that awesome stuff, so boo. And they're like, yeah, no, I will, I promise. So yeah, it is just me, and apart from my occasional wild spending like a hammock, this is my life and I am not going anywhere, and it is more than it's more than just a business and making cool figures. It's the general mission of getting this industry changed, and that's what I'm all about. So it's, I think, the occasion where somebody might even jokingly sort of suggest that maybe I'm not fully into it. I'm like so sensitive about it. So like, yes, this is entirely my being. So yes. Whew. I'm going fast because I've noticed we're on 55 minutes. You should totally go and like this video if you liked it to help my algorithm stuff. And yeah, I'm going to go chill on my hammock, I think. That's a good idea. Woo! Thank you. You are the best. You are so cool. Really, the people that are sort of around Squiddo and all that are the best. I really mean it. It sounds so cliched, but I really do. It's coming on next week. It is the 1 year party anniversary. I've no idea. I'll probably totally forget to do anything, but maybe there's a small chance that there will be something cool. Maybe one of those things, and then you'll hear a terrified guinea pig. Right, I have to go. I have to go. Goodbye. And go and watch Bride of the Monster. Maybe I'll let you in on what Film Club is. Right, see you all later. Bye.